Revenge films.
My name is Nancy. After graduating college, I got a full-time job and every day is really busy. There was an upperclassman that I had always admired ever since college, named Thomas. And even though I didn't see him after graduating college, I was never able to forget about him. Back in college, Thomas had a girlfriend, so I knew that it would end as just a one-sided crush. But I was so in love with him that I would have just been happy to admire him from afar. I always had a chubby body type, and most guys couldn't really look at me in a romantic way. I had no courage when it came to dating. Besides the fact that I had no confidence in my appearance, there was another reason why I couldn't really dive into any relationships. That was the presence of Ashley, my sister who was 3 years older than me. Unlike me, Ashley was beautiful and had a great body. Using that as a weapon ever since we were kids, if I liked someone, she would always go and steal them. I'm home. Is someone here, Ashley?
Oh, hey, Nancy.
What? Kevin? Why is Kevin here? And why is he with you?
Nancy? This is, well, you see...
I am going to be dating Kevin now. Looks like he's head over heels for me over you, who has nothing going for you. Well, it's only obvious.
How could you? It wasn't just once or twice. Anytime I would get a boyfriend or even just a crush, this would happen over and over again. And I was always left in tears. Because I was so hurt so many times by my sister, I stopped dating at all. If I was going to keep getting hurt, then I would rather not have a boyfriend at all. That's what I kept telling myself when one day I went to the usual bar after work, when by coincidence I ran into Thomas. Hey Nancy, welcome. Working overtime again today? Hey, I am tired from overwork, but I was so frustrated at work that I really needed a drink, so I am back again. Well, you should have more than one drink then. I sure will.
Wait, is that you, Nancy?
Huh? Wait, Thomas? Long time no see.
It's been a long time. How have you been?
I'm as good as ever. What about you, Thomas? Have you been good?
Yeah, of course.
We were both excited about the reunion, and for a while we were deep in conversation. Thomas had broken up with his girlfriend a while ago, and when I found out he was single, I thought this might be an opportunity, and we exchanged phone numbers. I was on cloud 9, but then Thomas's words brought me back down to reality.
You really haven't changed at all, Nancy. You've always been such a good friend.
Oh, really? Yeah, friend. I realized I was being friend-zoned, and I was hurt. So, for the first time in my life, I decided to go on a diet. For Thomas! I started going to the gym every day, cutting down on foods I was eating, and I did everything I could to lose weight. During that time, I would sometimes drink with Thomas at the bar, and seeing me lose weight, he complimented me for my hard work, and that only motivated me even more. On the other hand, anytime I would see my sister at home, she saw my efforts.
There's no way you're going to get a boyfriend just by doing that.
And she would belittle me and try getting in my way. Not only that, but she would purposely eat delicious-looking snacks and junk food right in front of me. But I didn't let it deter me, and I desperately tolerated it with revenge and Thomas on my mind. 3 months after I was reunited with Thomas, I looked like a completely different person, and I was finally able to have the confidence in myself. And finally, I decided that I would tell Thomas how I felt, so I called him over to invite him to the bar. Hello, Thomas?
Hey, Nancy, what's the matter?
There's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. Would it be possible for you to meet me at the usual bar tomorrow?
Of course I can.
Well then, I'll see you at 9 p.m. at the usual bar. The next day, I was nervous as I walked into the bar, but Thomas hadn't arrived yet. But then, at the corner seat of the bar, I saw a familiar head of hair. I couldn't believe it, but it was my sister. As soon as I saw her, I immediately knew that she had been eavesdropping on my phone call yesterday, and that she came here to steal Thomas. Hey, Ashley, I'm meeting someone important here today, so you better not get in the way.
Oh my, what a coincidence. When you said important person, you're talking about the upperclassman from college, right? There's no way. Someone as ugly as you is never going to get a boyfriend.
Don't call me ugly. Right at that moment, Thomas appeared, so I had no choice but to introduce my sister. And suddenly, my sister flipped a switch as she put on her most flirtatious face and approached Thomas. At that moment, Thomas shook my sister's hand off to him.
I heard your conversation just now. Nancy isn't ugly. She's a very attractive woman.
Thomas.
Nancy, attractive? Do you think so even after just seeing this beautiful face?
My sister tried to show off her best angels that she was so proud of, but Thomas didn't even try to look. Thomas, thank you for defending me, even though you didn't have to.
What are you talking about? When I think that you're the most attractive woman in the world.
What?
Nancy, will you go out with me?
No way.
Of course, yes! Excuse me? Despite being so good looking, you have such a bad taste.
My sister spat out those words as she got irritated and stormed out. And from there, my sister's harassment only heated up. She started trying to get me to gain weight again so that Thomas would dump me. However, I was continuing to exercise, so even if I ate poorly, I didn't gain much weight back. I was able to eat whatever I wanted. I was in love with Thomas, and every day was happy. 1 year after we started dating, Thomas proposed to me, and we were going to get married. Thanks to my hard work to lose weight, my crush came true, and I was going to get married, and I was so grateful. The day of the wedding, amongst our many friends and family, of course my sister was there, wearing the most extravagant dress that she was, casting her flirty eyes at all the men around her. When the best man and maid of honor speeches were finished, the venue was enveloped in a warm atmosphere. It was at that moment my sister suddenly got up on the stage, claiming that she had a surprise. She started a speech. A really bad feeling washed over me, and in that very next moment, that bad feeling turned into reality. As she began her speech, my sister raised her voice.
My little sister got plastic surgery. Everyone, please don't be fooled by her. Here is a photo of what she used to look like.
As she said that, an old photo of me was largely displayed on the screen for the whole venue to see. It may be true that I used to be chubby, but I never had plastic surgery. Not only was I hurt by that, but I knew people who saw my transformation could easily believe that I had plastic surgery, and before I knew it, tears were streaming down my face.
So, Thomas, are you still really wanting to marry someone this ugly?
Ashley, that's enough! Stop it! As soon as he heard me, Thomas stood up next to me and said,
So what?
It wasn't the response she expected, and my sister was thrown off.
You don't think it's embarrassing to have a wife that used to be fat and ugly?
Thomas then started laughing and answered,
I've always liked Nancy. Ever since her chubby days, she's always been kind and generous to everyone.
Thomas confessed in front of everyone that he had actually had a crush on me since our college days. Apparently, that was also the reason why he broke up with his girlfriend back then. When he saw how hard I was working to become pretty for him, he said he fell in love with me even more, and that's why he mustered up the courage to ask me out. My friends started to stand up and say,
It's true that she lost weight, but it's because of her hard work, not plastic surgery.
and they all started booing my sister.
What is this? Even though you're ugly, just because you're a female, that's the only thing you have going for you.
My sister had snapped, and she grabbed the orange juice next to me and threw it all over me. On top of that, she grabbed a face wipe from her purse and started scrubbing it all on my face with all her strength. When I looked in the mirror, I was shocked at the state of my face. I had just had my makeup done beautifully, but now it was a mess with mascara and lipstick everywhere. And I looked like a monster. What is this? I was so sad and upset that my wedding was ruined, and I started sobbing. But this time my relatives stood up, and their angry voices echoed throughout the venue. What kind of sister would ruin her own little sister's wedding like this?
Hurry up and get out.
You should know better than anybody that Nancy never got plastic surgery. Her face has never changed. Ever since she was a little girl.
You need to apologize to everybody. Come on now. My parents grabbed my sister as she was kicked out of the venue. And after she was forced to pay the highest cost of damages to the wedding dress rental for causing such a scene, she was also kicked out of the house. And all her relatives shunned her. She ate and drank her feelings, and as a result, she gained weight, and no man would ever go near her either. My sister and I became estranged, but after the incident at the wedding, she had used up all of her savings, and on top of that, became ostracized by everyone. I heard a rumor that currently she is sleeping around in hostels, as she works part-time jobs and is barely getting by. 5 years later, as for me, Thomas had our first child, and I was the happiest I've ever been. My sister, on the other hand, was sadly trying to find anyone to marry her, but she can't even get a boyfriend, and it seems like it's not going very well. As times went on, she fell into a depression, and I heard that she was struggling with her lonely life now. All I could think is that I want to continue being there for my husband, the same way he was there for me all this time.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.